Thanks for tuning in to Raising Bosses. I'm your host, Shauna J. Ray. Here on this podcast, we discuss changing our mindsets, growing a business while raising a family. If that's what you're interested in or currently doing, please stay tuned for what we have ahead. Okay, guys, thank you so much for tuning in to Raising Bosses. I am here with Godfrey Lewis of Avocado Vegan Cafe and Juice Bar. I wanted to just give him a little introduction. Now, this is like a really good interview because this is actually my dad, and I'm really happy to have him on and his busy schedule to accommodate me for an interview today. So I'm just going to ask him a few questions today because I really want to know more information about his amazing restaurant that he has. I tell all my friends about it, and I want everyone to know. And I'm going to learn something else today. So, Dad, because I don't want to call you Godfrey. That's weird. So tell me and my listeners a little bit about yourself.
Well, as it pertains to entrepreneurship or to...
Just in general, just a little short introduction.
Okay, well, I don't know which part of me you want me to talk about, but as you know, I am Jamaican. I grew born and bred in Jamaica. I moved here when I was almost 18, and I have been here ever since. My background is I'm a software engineer by training, but I got out of that maybe 5 years ago to open my own vegan restaurant with zero restaurant experience. So I'm still having fun and I'm still learning.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So you said your educational background is in software engineering. What what degrees did you have to get for that?
Well, it's a regular bachelor's degree in computer science. That was actually my second career because when I graduated my first time, I graduated with a journalism degree, and I worked for 10 years in the airline industry. My plan was actually to work only 2 years, see the world for a while, and got serious, and then get serious. But I was having so much fun in the airline industry. 2 years led to 10 years, and I realized I didn't actually have a profession. I had a job, but not a profession. And my family was growing, and I think you were maybe, when I went back to college, you were, oh God, let's see. You were maybe 6 years old, and I decided I needed to get a profession. I couldn't say, I'm an accountant or a chef. I was in junior management at Delta Airlines, and I needed, my family was about to get larger. So I decided to go and get something serious. It was purely a practical decision. It wasn't that, I was a computer whiz kid or anything. I was just saying, how can I feed my family? And I went back, and luckily it took a very short time because I already had a degree. So it took a very short time, 18 months, for me to get a second degree in computer science. And that's what I've been doing since 1996 up until 2014.
Wow. I didn't even know some of that. That's amazing. You actually answered my next question already. Perfect. So what made you want to start a restaurant business if you have no background in restaurant, even though you're an amazing cook already and everyone told you that?
Well, to tell the truth, my ambition was never really a restaurant. My ambition, or my strong interest, some people call it passion. I sometimes stay away from that word, but my very, very strong interest was health and healing and vibrant health, which has to do with nutrition is a major part of it. So I was more interested in nutrition, and of course, but what I could afford to do at the time to express that interest was a restaurant. So the restaurant is really a result of my interest in health and healing. As you know, I'm also a yoga teacher and a body worker, and anything to do with natural health and healing. That is really what I'm into. And massage therapy and all that is just part of my interest in what people call, quote unquote, alternative health. And I just call it health, you know.
That's true. That's true. What else do you said you hold, I know you're a yoga instructor and everything like that. What other things do you do with health beside the restaurant and massage therapy and yoga?
Well, I have a plant-based nutrition certification out of Cornell University. And recently I completed a health coach certification at Emory University. So again, it's all my interest in health and healing.
Awesome. I had it a second ago.
Take your time. I have all day. But I would have you know that I am not ungrateful, and the previous career that I had in corporate, maybe in software engineering, I did not hate it. It's not something where I got up and I went to work like, oh my God, I got to go to work today and all that stuff. It did very well. It allowed me to take care of my family, and it's not that I despised it or hated it. It's just that I was more dissatisfied with what I was not doing rather than what I was doing, if that makes sense.
That's really good. I like that. That's really good. I think a lot of people have that problem when they get up and go to work, and that's why they kind of regret it, because when they're not happy doing what they're doing at work and what they're not doing, the things that they have passions for. Would you say you're the type of person? I've always heard, successful people, they go and they invest in themselves and they get all the extra training and, so they know more about their passion or whatever they're trying to be successful in. So you seem to be that way. Like you always go out of your way to find.
I really, really enjoy learning. I don't always make money from what I have learned, even in a formal situation. But I'm very, very curious, and I'm very inquisitive, and I really enjoy the learning process. If I could learn for a living, I would, and that's why I do all these courses, and of course you can learn these things without doing a course. I mean, with all the available information and the access to information, but I like it in a formalized setting. It gives me a framework to which I can work. So if I was really disciplined, I could go there and I could learn about plant-based nutrition on my own, which I have, but to formalize it just gives me a starting point, an ending point, and parameters in which to work from, and I really, really enjoy that process. I don't always enjoy the assignments and, and all that stuff where you have to, but I'm glad I get to do it and so on. But yeah, I would probably do those classes and those courses for free, even if there was nothing monetary following it, no monetary reward. I just really enjoy that. And that's my, and again, I hate to say the word passion because, my passion or my interest is very broad. And I hear people talk about passion, and I could never see myself doing anything else. And, this is it. And I'll forsake everything else just to do my passion and all that. And I don't, that's not me. You know what I mean? My interest is broad, and I can say health and healing is up there. If not number one, it's up there, And but I have other things which I like, and other jobs I could do. Like one of my dream jobs would be to like write skits for like one of those prank shows on TV or something like that.
I could totally see you doing
that. That
like
would be
the next
funny.
Dave Chappelle, King Phil. My dad is the biggest goof I know.
So that would be something I could do, but it wouldn't be instead of my interest in health and healing. I mean, I could see myself writing skits for like Saturday Night Live, and that would be a job worth getting up and going to.
It's ever changing and it's fun.
Exactly. Punked. 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 Yeah. I could definitely do something like that.
That's so awesome. That's so awesome. I can see you doing that. You like to write and stuff. Well, it explains a lot. Like I actually sit at home. I wrote a blog post, how I sit at home basically all day while I'm working, and I plug in, my computer, and I just like learn different things about whatever I'm interested in. And I've like learned a whole bunch, just like, and they always say like successful people, courses are important, and courses are being pushed now because they are a easier way to like learn it on your own. Because you can even like buy those learners, like Udemy and things like that.
Right.
So on your own. So what did you do to actually start Avocado Vegan Cafe?
Well, to your stepmom's surprise, I came home in October and I said, you know what, I think I'm going to open a vegan restaurant. And I said, okay, honey, great. That's awesome. As she often indulges me. And then I think it was 2 months later, and I was still working in corporate at the time. And I came home and I said, hey, I signed the lease. And she was like, what? But I knew I was going to do it. I guess she wasn't sure if when I said I was going to do it, I was sure I was going to do it. So the first thing I did was I started, with a real estate agent. I started to look at other, I started to be more observant of like other vegan restaurants because, mostly I go to vegan restaurants. If there's a vegan restaurant in the area or whatever, I go there instead of a regular restaurant with vegan options and so on. So I just started doing some little research here and there, reading articles, how to run a restaurant, how to that. But and at times I felt a little bit overwhelmed. And but after I got the space, I didn't even know how to set up a commercial kitchen. So I hired a consultant. I did hire a consultant in terms of to help me with, how a commercial kitchen flows and what equipment you need and, setting up the line and the, things like pots and pans and, you need a cooler and a sandwich table and a all-in-one stove with how many burners? Like 6 or 8 burner with a griddle and a broiler underneath and two ovens and and he helped me to get the best for him because I wouldn't even know where to start. I mean, in other words, spending that money to get a consultant, helped me instead of trying to learn everything from scratch and everything from my own research.
So successful people do go out of their way to find someone to mentor them in all areas and consult. Exactly.
Yes. And you might think you're saving some money by not hiring somebody like that. Oh, I can learn it on my own. And some people can't. Some people are conned to their orientation or their experience. They can do that. And you have to know yourself and you have to know what you don't know. And because I hadn't worked in a kitchen before, I was quite aware, I was trying to imagine it, and I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to get a consultant who can just tell me point blank, you need this, that, and this has to stay here. And there's also rules. There's also health department stuff that you will know eventually, but you have so many codes that you have to adhere to in terms of fire and safety. And, and if you go ahead and make decisions not knowing that, and you have to revert, it might cost you even more. So if you can, and some people start business on shoestring budget, and I certainly understand that. But if you can hire a consultant in an area that that you're not too versed in, I would definitely advise in that direction, because you might think you're saving money, but it can end up costing you a lot more.
That's a good way to put that. I've heard that before. Something about like time is money. So if I spent 2 months learning about running putting the restaurant together, whereas I could take $100 and a consultant for a couple of hours, I've already saved myself time, money, all of the above. So, I mean, that's in any business. You have to, like you said, know yourself. I like the way you put that. You have to know yourself to figure out if, you can learn this in 10 minutes, or if it's best to get someone on this, come in for you.
Exactly.
So I know you're always busy and you have a big family. And you've had the restaurant for about 4 years?
5 years.
5 years. Okay, so that
next month is going to be 5 years.
We've gone over that. What is it? The 3-year hump for new businesses?
Yeah,
3 years.
I mean, restaurant is an animal of its own, because restaurant is different from any other business, and
makes sense.
I think the success rate of restaurants is 70% fail within 5 years.
Within 5, okay.
Within 5 years, there are different time markers and so on. But if restaurant was a stock, like a stock on the stock market, you probably would not buy it. If somebody had to give you to invest and you said this is a prospectus and all that, you would be crazy. You'd be crazy to invest in a restaurant, according to the statistics. I always say that if you decide to do a restaurant and you read the statistics and you still go ahead with it, you're either really, really optimistic or stupid. I don't know which one I am. I know I'm very optimistic, but I think there's a little bit of,
You've already passed the 5-year mark for most restaurants, so I'd say you're doing pretty good. You were optimistic, you pushed through, and you actually succeeded instead of thinking you were stupid and not trying, because they still be in corporate or wherever else and not as happy.
Well, I wish I could say, I'm very, very grateful, don't get me wrong, but I wish I could say it was because of my genius or my hard work. I wish I could say all of that, but I think there is an element of right time, right place, going to work, because, like starting stuff at the right time, right place, something that was needed, why I succeeded, because I don't know if you know, but at this stage of my life, I am not a nose to the grind kind of person. 18 hours a day because you want to work it hard. I really rely on, and I believe in the flow of the universe and moving along with it. And even if it didn't work, of course, I'd be disappointed, but I would try to extract the lesson in it, because you either succeed and learn, or you fail, or you learn. Even in failure or so-called failure, there is a lesson to be learned. And it's only a failure if you didn't learn what you are supposed to learn. So if it didn't work, I would be very, very disappointed. But I would try to extract the lesson from it and what is to be learned from it. And I would actually end up looking forward to my next adventure. my next move, to my next endeavor, because life is continuous. And what I'm doing now, Shauna, is not, of course I want to make money. And thank God it's taking care of me and the family and our mortgage and taking care of itself and everything. I mean, that's all good. But even though I want to make money, at this stage of my life, I did not want to make money at any cost. So as I'm married, I have my family life, I have my children. You guys, I wanted to have healthy relationships. I didn't want to be one of those 20 hours a day. You want it bad enough, you're going to work. That's not where my mind is. My mind is more in tune with the law of attraction and stop trying to go against the grain and swimming upriver and everything. So I'm trying to flow, not to say you don't have goals, but to be so rigidly attached to your goals, even when the convergence of the universe is telling you that, hey, this is where you ought to be, and you're fighting against it and all of that. So all the forces of the universe, you can fight against it or you could go with it. And I don't think that I have to work 24 hours a day just to make a living. I wanted to be financially healthy, but I wanted to be emotionally healthy too. I wanted to be spiritually healthy and to be healthy with healthy relationships with my family and my wife, my children, all of you. So I was not going to, I'm not a nose to the grind kind of guy.
Well, something
or whatever they say, you have to want it bad enough. Oh.
Well, yeah, I know what you mean. And so all the books you read, it's like if you really want something, you have to go
forsake your own mom, forsaking all others and all of that stuff. I'm like, and then you end up with all this money, and then you're lonely. All your relationships are wrecked, and you find comfort in drugs or alcohol or whatever it is. No way. Oh. So I wanted to be healthy all around, healthy spiritually, mentally, emotionally, available to my family and so on. Even though sometimes you call me and I'm like, hey, I'm in the middle of lunch now. I can't talk.
That's what I was making fun of right there. Like, is this a good time to call? Is it lunch hour? Is it like it's like Chipotle and Taco Bell at lunch hour? And what's it? Chick-fil-A at lunch?
Exactly. 2 hours. Well, I would know about Chick-fil-A.
Everybody knows about Chick-fil-A. They have a line.
Not me, because even Imani, your sister, not too long ago, we were driving by. She's like, "Oh, I love Chick-fil-A. I love Chick-fil-A's fries. Could we stop and get some?" And I said, "Darling, I would not even go into the parking lot of a Chick-fil-A." She's like, "Come on." I'm like, "No, I'm not going over there."
This is the same reason why I stopped eating I didn't stop eating Subway. But when you told me, they use the turkey cutlets, and I was like, cutlets?
Oh, God.
I didn't eat much meat back then anyway, but that was like my one thing. It was like a turkey sandwich, and you were like, cutlets or cold cuts. And I was like, never again. I stopped eating it like the next day.
And it's out of processed meat, deli meat and all of that. I mean, meat, I think, is bad enough, but all those deli processed stuff, that's like, carcinogens.
Agreed.
Let me have a 12-inch cancer tumor, please.
See, that's exactly. Wow. People don't understand why I'm so hardcore. They think I'm hardcore, and then it's like, so delicate. My dad says carcinogens. Great.
Of course.
I love it.
Of course, that's exactly what you order when you're going. Let me have a 6-inch tumor with
that's really
lettuce and tomatoes and whole the jalapenos and all that stuff. But anyway, I digress.
Do you have any words of wisdom for people looking to start their own restaurant or food truck or,
I would say, okay, all right. I don't have any words of wisdom. I say just money is not good enough. If you're starting a business for just money, I don't think, money is real, don't get me wrong. But if it's only money, I don't think you're going to be fulfilled. Now, I am a realist, right? And, your mortgage is real and your kids' college is real. And I'm not above doing something for money. Don't get me wrong. It's not, so I'm not saying that you have to find your passion and only do your passion and so on. But you have to, if you're going to start a business, I would say start a business for money, of course, but some other reason. Because I think at your darkest hour, when you start to question your judgment and you start to wonder if you should do this, and when the money isn't rolling in, if there isn't something other than money, you're going to have a lot of sleepless nights and you're going to have a lot of doubt and your confidence is going to come into question. And you're going to need another reason to wake up the next morning and to do good, to do what you're doing. So again, realistically, nothing wrong with making money and nothing wrong with doing something for the money to pay your bills and feed your family. I'm not trying to be elitist or be esoteric and all that. Reality is reality. And I've cut grass for money before. We say you do what you got to do. I've done that before. I'm just saying, if you're starting a business and you can find a reason, money can be the primary reason, because we have to eat. But if you can find a reason other than just money, I think you will be better off.
Agreed. I've heard a lot of people say that. What type of...
I thought I was the first. Are you sure? Because I just thought of that myself. Just kidding. Go ahead. I'm only kidding.
Do you have any... I know you mentioned you like to read the newsletters. Not newsletters, news articles. So what other types of inspirational media do you like to consume? Like books, podcasts?
Books, podcasts. I have Audible. I try to use up my time, like driving. If I could pop in, I have a lot of podcasts. The podcast I listen to is predominantly around plant-based eating.
Feel free to share the books and the podcasts.
I like, what's one? I do like, what's it? Hold on, let me see. Plant Yourself podcast. It's called Plant Yourself. I like that one. I like No Meat Athlete. That's another good one. For business, there's also a Veggie Doctor Radio. I listen to that. There's a really good business one. I think his name is Jerry. But anyway, so I have Dr. Greger's How Not to Die, his book. I have that on audio tape, and I'm actually listening to it for the third time. That's important. I don't know if you know Dr. Greger, but he runs just out of love, no compensation financially. He runs nutritionfacts.org, and every single thing, every opinion he has or every conclusion is actually evidence-based. It's not guessing or conjecture. And he'll cite the study and the source. So it's not that confirmation bias that most of us have, where we believe one thing and then we've tried to find evidence to support it. So I'm listening to Dr. Greger, How Not to Die. and he chronicles the 15 leading cause of death in the United States, which is all lifestyle diseases that cause it, and how not to die of that particular disease. What causes it, what causes there are that contribute to developing these diseases, and how we may prevent it, and if we do have it, what foods and nutrition that help with it, and so on. So I'm listening to that, and because I think, Shauna, there's a lot of diseases and a lot of people out there that's suffering, and we're suffering unnecessarily. We are. I mean, there are foods that are much better indicated for certain diseases and disease prevention than the drugs that we are used to taking. So there's a lot of people that's suffering, and they're suffering with all these diseases because the doctors assume that they won't do this anyway. They won't change their lifestyle, so let's just give them drugs. And the drugs are causing these debilitating side effects, sometimes worse than the illness itself. Yeah, I just think that, there's a lot of people suffering unnecessarily.
I have to agree completely. Not even as a bias because you're my dad, but I think because you opened. My mom is also knows certain things. Not that she might always follow it, but she would tell me certain things, and then I also heard your side of it. So I would kind of step back and look at people, and I noticed certain people going through certain things. And as I got older, I started looking into it. And, I love to watch the documentaries. That's my biggest thing with health and things like that. I like to watch lots of documentaries, and I started really watching, and I started, looking at myself and things like that. And I slowly, went that way. And I've been lucky enough to find friends that, even when they're not on the exact same hardcore as some people call vegan lifestyle or extreme, they do understand natural things and diet and things like that. Even if they don't always follow it, they understand it. They don't look sideways at me. And, a lot of my friends don't do a lot of medication and things like that because they know that one medication is going to lead you to 5 more medications. And then the doctor... We've gotten into a point where people think that, I'll just take a pill for it. And they don't even think about, well, can I stop this? Or my favorite one to people is I basically don't have the willpower to stop doing X to save myself from B. And it's really sad to see when you're okay, well, all you have to do is not eat this type of whatever and you won't have to take 3 pills.
Right. It's true. I mean, and there's if you look at the entire paradigm, if you look at, I think that we are so, the way that we look at illness, we are so caught up in treating symptoms and indicators, risk factors. That, we get caught up in let's lower your cholesterol. These are risk factors, but it's not the illness itself. You know what I mean? And they don't go, if you have a headache, right? The headache is like an indicator. It's like an indicator. Pain is necessary because pain is your indicator that something is wrong. Right? It might not be anything catastrophic that's wrong, but if you have a headache, your body is telling you it could be something as simple as you're dehydrated. 2, you have a brain tumor, something like that. It could right? That could be the indication, right? Now, if you have a headache and your body is telling you something, you need to drink some water, or you have a brain tumor. Now, if you take a pill to get rid of the headache, right? It's like smashing the oil light indicator in your car you still need oil. Even if the oil light indicator comes on, right? Even if you smash it and it doesn't come on anymore, it's still, and pain is necessary. Think about it. If I take my finger and I bend it back all the way, the pain is there to tell me,
don't do that.
If you keep going, it's gonna break your finger, right? That's what the pain is for. Imagine if you couldn't feel pain. There's actually a disease.
That's actually a bad condition, yeah.
Exactly. If you can't feel pain, you get all these bruises and these broken legs, and you don't know. Seriously, you don't know that you have it. Or it's the same. So if you're just smashing your indicators, if you're just obliterating the things that are telling you that something is wrong, like a headache or a stomach ache or acid reflux or whatever it is, and you just take what's that thing for acid reflux?
Prilosec or
the pink thing for I forget.
Prilosec, OTC, or omeprazole. There's my pharmacy tech kicking in.
But if you take those things, then you get rid of the acid reflux, but whatever it's causing, it's still there.
I always love your analogies. I love your analogies. I think you should have a health food podcast. This is turning into that. I wouldn't mind having a YouTube, not interview, but just a one-on-one on YouTube of us talking about health, because I do talk about that on my channel sometimes. And
sure,
just
anytime, babe.
Things like that. Just FYI there, guys. Not to cut you off, but I do want to ask one more question.
All right.
Yes. So what socials can you be? Oh, actually, no, I'm sorry. I have two more questions. What else do you have in the works, besides besides just the restaurant?
Like I said, I recently finished a health coaching certification, and it is terrific. I mean, I think it will give me the framework in which to help people, because I told you about people suffering needlessly, and I think with certain information, certain guidance, meeting them where they are and partnering with them to get them into health and vibrancy, I think that would be something really fulfilling for me. I mean, something tangible where I could work with people. So I would like to start to get into that. I'd like to start to get into to launching that part of my career. I want to also get back into teaching yoga. I teach a workshop here and there, but because I couldn't commit to a schedule, I do appearances, and
So you're a celebrity in Georgia, and the yoga community is what you're saying. I'd have to agree. I've been to yoga with him before.
Well, I'm a celebrity, not just in Georgia. Just kidding.
I wouldn't disagree.
Yeah, so I'd like to get back into, but that's it. And I would like to also launch something where I'm not so tethered to brick and mortar like the restaurant, something maybe internet based and so on. And I'd like to put out more. Probably do a podcast like you, a YouTube channel. I have a channel. I just haven't been doing anything much, but it's...
What's your YouTube channel right now? Just,
Well, right now it's just Godfrey Lewis, but and I also have one that's not really. It's called Plant-Based Revolutionary.
Like your Facebook page?
Yeah. But I haven't produced many videos for it yet. But it's coming. It's coming. I just want to, when I launch it, I just want to have a clear, not to say I can't change, but I haven't seen a clear path of what I want to do, even with my health coaching. The reason why I'm procrastinating is because I want to have a target audience. I don't want to just go there and say, oh yeah, I can just help. I want to have a target audience. I want to have the ideal. I want to define who my customers are, who my clients are. I do want to work with, chronic diseases, instead of just, everybody's my client, So as soon as and the same thing with like a YouTube channel or a podcast, I want to have a clearly defined pathway, not to say that I have to stick to it, or again, not flowing with the universe. But before I start, I want to know where I'm going. I can always change course, but I want to have a clear vision of where I'm going, rather than just throwing stuff up in the air and hoping they stick somewhere.
Agreed. I that's why I did what I did with my my YouTube. I tried that once with the YouTube, but the YouTube one, I was like, I'm going to make this everything. But everything else since then has been more focused. That is important, having a target audience. I think that wraps up all my questions. I do just want to know for my listeners, because it will be in the show notes, what are all your socials and where can they reach you?
My socials? You mean I'm just at godfreylewis.com. Facebook, I'm just Godfrey Lewis. On my restaurant is avocadovegancafe.com. Same thing on Instagram, where at avocado_vegan_cafe. I have a page on Facebook that's called Plant-Based Revolutionary, where I try to offer resources and articles, and not necessarily written by me, but articles that I think are of interest. Yeah, so that's where I am.
Awesome. Well, this has been another amazing interview, and I really appreciate that you took time out of your day to talk to me and allow me to do this recording with you. I'm pretty sure this information is going to help somebody out, and that's my main goal. So y'all heard all the socials. If y'all want more information and on the restaurant or anything like that, you know where to reach him.
Well, thank you very much, darling. I'm very proud of what you're doing with all your iPod, your podcast and your YouTube channel, and I check out your stuff, and I think you're going places, and keep up the good work. And any way that I can help or be a part of it, then I'd love to. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Well, that's going to be an end to this interview. Guys, thank you for listening. Thank you for listening to the Raising Bosses podcast. I hope you enjoyed, and please tell your friends and family. Go ahead and share this podcast on social media. If you or someone you know would like to be a part of this podcast, please email us at raisingbosses@gmail.com, or you could DM us on all our social medias, our Raising Bosses on Facebook and Instagram. Thank you and goodbye.